Well, the YouTube channel Those Pesky Dames have successfully had those two flagged videos removed. However, I had put in the description, info area of the video a message saying something to the effect of since this video has been flagged, to any YouTube staff that may be reviewing this video, please note that whether or not you decide to remove this video, the YouTube channel Those Pesky Dames are on a flagging spree. They are flagging anyone that uses any of their footage when rebutting their political viewpoints, and they are flagging anyone that makes a negative reference to their channel. They are doing this in an effort to bully, harass, intimidate and silence opposition of their political views. They are targeting anyone that is critical of them. Please investigate their channel's flagging and reporting behavior. I am also going to appeal the bans. I honestly believe I am well within my rights to show their video footage in the manner I did. I also believe their flagging is a bully and harassment campaign. It might take a while, but enough channels getting flagged by them enough times is going to irritate the YouTube staff, and they are going to get fed up with having to respond and review all these videos being flagged, when clearly these videos aren't breaking laws, are not clearly violating YouTube's DOS, and aren't hurting anyone. No matter how rudely or mockingly someone responds to one of their videos, people have a right to challenge their social criticisms. Like I said, they are going to keep on until YouTube comes to the conclusion that their channel is the one causing all the problems. It's also been amazing how many people have mirrored the flagged videos. People who have been commentators on YouTube for years, never making a video, are now hosting mirrors of flagged videos and joining the fight for free speech. And to those people I say well done. Okay, I had this weird dream. I dreamed that there were these women who were going around killing men like you can see in this John the Author video.
Of European nations, Sweden is the country arguably farthest along the path to Orwellian nightmare. It's the home of the Swedish model for prostitution, where the sale of sex as a service is legal, but the purchase of it is not. It's a country deep in the grip of an overt totalitarian radical feminist rule. And if you don't know by now, a Swedish group of as yet unidentified women produced and posted a video on YouTube depicting the point-blank shooting of a man reading a newspaper. The shooting was staged with the cooperation of the portrayed victim, using theatrical blood makeup. The females, including the as-yet unidentified portrayed murderer, appeared to enact this fantasy in a state of ecstatic glee. The group identify themselves in the title of their video as Scum Having Fun. This taken from the title of a famous piece of hate literature written by Valerie Salinas, named the Society for Cutting Up Men Manifesto.
And here's the thing. These women attacked men with axes, and the axes they used were burning, like they had covered the head in flammable gel and lit it before going in for the kill. The axe heads had a letter on it. Each person had a different letter on their axe, and those letters spelled out M-E-A-N. Thus they were called the Mean Girls. These women were either wearing masks or somehow just never had their faces exposed in the videos. In one of the videos though, I noticed the axe head had the letter K on it. Me and Snake Plisskenist were inboxing on YouTube about it. I was telling him how there was a fifth member. He told me he had information relevant to the case, but YouTube wasn't a safe place to talk. He wanted me to meet him at his house, so he gave me the address and I drove to his house, which was sort of like a log cabin, and it was secluded out in the woods, overlooking a lake. I walked to the house, rang the doorbell and heard him say come in. I walked inside and the place looked nice. It looked very cozy. I asked where he was. He said down here shooting pool. So I walked downstairs to the basement, and there he was playing pool, and the basement looked really nice and had some arcade machines in it. We started talking about the MEAN girls. I noticed there were a lot of women's clothes and women's hats on hangers and laying around the place. I joked about it and asked him if he was a cross-dresser. He laughed and said no, these clothes aren't mine. They belong to the woman who owns the house. I asked where this woman was. He said standing behind you. I turn around and it was Krista, Femitheist Divine. She gave one of her big psychotic smiles and said hi, how are ya?
Hey guys, it's Barbie.
I was a little confused and said I'm okay I guess. I turned to Snake to ask what the hell he was doing inside her house, but when I turned I noticed he had stepped back. He said you had to keep digging didn't you? I turned to look at Krista, and still with that psychotic smile on her face, she lit the end of an axe, the letter K. Then the other girls came out from some doors, with their axes lit, and it was the pesky dames. They began chopping at me. It didn't hurt, and the sound the axes made was as if I were made out of wood. Then I woke up with a very serious fever, and have been deathly ill all day. Pretty fucked up dream, eh? People in the comments on my last video said that it was funny how in order to protect the privacy of the dames I showed just their breasts. I assure you it was just a coincidence. I merely moved the image upwards so that their face was off camera and thus couldn't be identified. And so again here is one of the many dames. Her face moved up and off screen, and if that just happens to reveal a lot of cleavage, that's not my fault. I can't choose what these women wear. And without any further ado.
Hi viewers! Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about feminism in relation to heterosexual relationships.
You mean the kind that involves a man? Funny how only when a man is involved does feminism rear its ugly head.
There is no point, denying the fact that as a feminist, someone is going to be like, oh, so you're a man-hating lesbian then?
You mean like these feminists? Funny how such radical ideas get spread around. I tend to think of feminists more as man-blaming crybabies, a bit like damsels in distress insisting they must be rescued from danger, like pirates who laugh at their idiotic statements, "Save me, I feel harassed and threatened, someone is challenging my opinions with their own. Oh YouTube, won't you help me bully and silence my critics?"
And eventually you'll probably end up having feminist beliefs and a boyfriend or husband, or the desire to have one. Crazy, I know. The thing is though, the patriarchy is probably going to try and get its little claws into your relationship and fuck it up with gender roles and stereotypes and shit like that.
Wait, what? The patriarchy has claws, little claws. All this time I thought patriarchy referred to an unseen order, a secret society maybe, possibly a bit like the Illuminati. All this time the patriarchy is a person, or more accurate, an individual, with little claws, like a T-Rex. Can you describe what he was wearing? Maybe a hat? I assume maybe a top hat or a fedora. I mean, I am partial to fedoras myself and I am often accused of being patriarchal. Well, whatever he looks like, we need to hunt him down and tell him to leave women alone, and tell him not to rape, and remind him that women hold up half the sky. And I think it is amazing they hold up half the sky. I thought the only thing women did was hold up the traffic, and I had assumed that the sky was held by a pillar at each corner of the earth. You see, I learned so much in gender studies classes, though I must confess perhaps it's my privilege blinding me here, but I don't see patriarchy messing up relationships, though I see feminism doing it all the time. After all, the entire point of your video as you just said was feminism in heterosexual relationships. Well, maybe feminism shouldn't be sticking its claws in people's relationships. Maybe there would be less divorce.
After all, the personal is political. The relationships we have with people contribute to or diminish the patriarchy depending on how we choose to navigate them. And if you're not a lesbian, or indeed don't practice political lesbianism, then it's going to be more difficult to not let the patriarchy define your relationships. We must try.
Interesting, guys. Did any of you catch that bit of code she uttered? Let's listen again, bit by bit, and tell me if you can spot the real underlying theme of her video.
After all, the personal is political. The relationships we have with people contribute to or diminish the patriarchy depending on how we choose to navigate them.
1. The personal is political. 2. How you choose to have a relationship either reinforces traditional gender roles or redefines them.
And if you're not a lesbian, or indeed don't practice political lesbianism, then it's going to be more difficult to not let the patriarchy define your relationships.
3. If you are a normal heterosexual woman, as opposed to feminism's ideal existence as a woman, lesbian, you will find yourself playing the role of woman, and him playing the role of man. When you put it all together, this translates to, if you can't be a lesbian the way feminism wishes, you can at least fuck up traditional gender roles by turning the political into something personal, that is, inserting feminist dogma into your relationship, so that you can do your part to fuck up gender norms, and turn the personal into something political. She accuses patriarchy, in this case a reference to normal healthy natural male-to-female relationships, of getting its claws into your relationship, while openly advocating that you insert unnatural feminist ideas into your personal life, and to do this to propagate feminism. Here's an idea: why don't you quit telling vulnerable gullible young ladies to risk fucking up their relationship by drawing political boundaries in their relationship, in an effort to skew what comes natural and has prospered since the dawn of time? You know, it's honestly none of my business what role anyone in life goes with, whether it is a submissive male and dominant female, no matter which one wants to be the breadwinner, who's on top and who's on bottom. I honestly don't care about these things. I think people should engage their relationship in the way that feels comfortable to them, and to hell with norms or politics that challenge norms. I think everyone should just live in a way that is comfortable to them. You see, as an MRA, I don't feel the need to demand people fuck their lives or relationships up by turning their personal and private lives into a political statement. I also think it is amazing how you begin by saying patriarchy will get its claws into your relationship, while advocating that this is what feminism should do. It's right up though with that doublespeak of claiming to be victims of bullying, all the while being the bullies, claiming they aren't allowed to have a voice, while actively censoring others, claiming to be afraid, while actively engaging in scare tactics, claiming equality while pursuing supremacy, claiming their opponents are privileged, when privilege describes themselves more accurately than any other demographic, claiming to be a victim while victimizing others, etc. It's that weird communist cultural Marxist Orwellian doublespeak that so deeply permeates the left. I think my audience should hear this bit one more time.
Personal is political. The relationships we have with people contribute to or diminish the patriarchy depending on how we choose to navigate them. And if you're not a lesbian, or indeed don't practice political lesbianism, then it's going to be more difficult to not let the patriarchy define your relationships. We must strive to be women-identified women, even whilst having partners of the opposite sex. Many radical feminists would probably say that this is an impossibility.
Again, I personally interpret her words to mean something along the lines of, if you can't be feminism's ideal woman, which is a lesbian, then do everything you can to fight against the normal heterosexual tendencies of yourself and partner, in an effort to mess up gender norms, to empower feminism and the lesbians feminism benefits the most. If try as you might, you can't be a lesbian, and you must have a man, at least break him and turn him into a submissive bitch. Your entire rant is really just you railing against gender being biologically determined. You are railing against the natural healthy male instinct and healthy female instinct, with the goal of screwing up gender norms. Maybe I am totally misreading you here, but your entire video reeks of anti-male sentiment, but mostly a huge disdain for heterosexuality. Rather than letting people just do what comes natural to them, you ask them to go against their nature in order to denormalize heterosexuality, all the while subtly hinting that males are conspiratorial control freaks who want to turn women into submissive slaves. And then you wonder why people get this radical notion that feminism is a lesbian idea that conveys the hatred of men.